competition, in which I learn about the game in the simplest yet most effective way possible by witnessing my parents' enthusiasm for tennis, particularly winning tennis. Tennis didn't start with the coaching, the boys, or the tumble dryer. It had always been there. My mum and dad were big players and had been very involved at that very same Dunblane Tennis Club since we moved to the town when I was about 5. There were 4 blaze courts, an early, less luxurious version of clay, and a cute little wooden pavilion at the club. It seemed enormous then, but now it doesn't even exist, replaced by the slicker facilities at the new and improved Dunblane Sports Club. My earliest memories are that they, and by default we, my brothers and I, were almost always down at the tennis club. My mum and her best friend ran the kids' coaching sessions on Saturday mornings, and they both played competitively for the adult team too. At first I hated having to spend so much time down there, but only because I was too small to play. Age 5, I was too short and too slight to wield an adult racket, and children's ones were years away from being invented, let alone making it to Dunblane. And the courts seemed enormous, a bigger space than I ever could have covered, and that shale surface was agony to fall on, and made your trainers dirty. So I'd hang around, looking after my 2 younger brothers and longing to be allowed a piece of the action. I was supposed to be keeping an eye on the boys, but they preferred kicking balls around, feeding the ducks or climbing trees. What I was really doing was watching the adults and the older kids from my spot on the grass, peering eternally through the green diamond mesh of the fencing. Everyone seemed to be having a blast, regardless of the cold or the rain. The frustration was immense, to see the fun but not to be able to take part. Frankly, it was agony, a pain only mildly alleviated by playing badminton over the washing line with my brothers when we got home. At home, the tennis theme continued. My mum especially was a huge fan. During Wimbledon fortnight, we couldn't watch anything else on the TV, and to be honest, we barely got fed. It was just Wimbledon on the telly all day long, punctuated by cold food. A bit of salad or something from the back of the fridge, perhaps. At first, it was a real shock to the system, as my mum is a great cook, but after a few years, we accepted it as standard procedure. Dad would always be home from work bang on 6 p.m. to catch as much of the tennis as possible. They'd discuss the day's play as if nothing else mattered, and we just rolled with it. It was Wimbledon. We didn't care, though. It was intoxicating to see Mum and Dad so excited about something to the point where normal rules fizzled away, and in the end, we started to absorb the excitement too. There wasn't anything else to watch, so over time the rules and the scoring system started to make sense. The patterns began to slot together as the match took shape, and we caught Wimbledon fever along with them. My mum, ever the armchair tactician, would explain the various shots to me, pointing out how one player was beating another and why, and talking about what she would do in that situation. Many years later, I would realise she had no idea what she was talking about. And as the finals rolled around, there was no question of us doing anything else. Wimbledon would be on, my mum would be gasping, clapping and commentating, and the channel wouldn't be changed until someone was lifting the trophy. Eventually, early one summer, the day came. I was allowed to have a shot. My mum gently showed me how to swing the racket, her way too big and way too heavy racket, but I'd been watching for so long, I was like a coiled spring ready to go. My dad chipped in with the teaching too, and before long, I was given the chance to have a first racket of my own. I was at home, half-heartedly playing in the garden with my brothers, when my dad came home with 2 rackets to choose from. He sat me on the sofa and showed both of them to me carefully, showcasing them like an expert holding precious artifacts in a museum. I'd like to think he had painstakingly whittled down a multitude of choices available to just these 2, and selected them especially for me. But I knew the reality. One was from the sports shop in the next village, and the other was from Woolworth.